Hugh and Kevin, welcome back to Real Vision.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have both of you here. Let me tell a little bit of the backstory, the inside story for our audience so they can understand the conversation we're about to have, which I'm incredibly excited about. I've been looking forward to this one for weeks. First, the intros for two people who don't really need introductions. Our audience knows both of you. You've both been on the platform, in the case of Hugh, many times. But let's start with Kevin. So Kevin is the CEO of Rally. I think of Rally as a company that is very much at ground zero in the middle of this tokenization revolution, backed by many of the biggest investors in the space, Coinbase Ventures, A16Z, Balaji Srinivasan. Kevin was an investment banker before he got into this space, before he got into tech, I should say, at the beginning of his career. He created a gaming company that he sold to a Korean company for, I believe, around $1 billion. He's a major player in this space, in the tokenization space, and really is the perfect person here to talk about this topic. Hugh Hendry is, well, he's Hugh Hendry. You know him already. He's one of the most famous hedge fund managers of his generation. Of course, Eclectica Asset Management generated 30+% returns during the depths of the financial crisis. A contrarian thinker, but also a philosophical thinker about markets, about macro, and someone you generally don't want to miss when he's on camera. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Hi.
So let me tell you a little bit of the backstory about how this conversation came to be. Hugh and I and Rao were having a live conversation. We were doing a live cocktail hour on Real Vision. And we started talking about sort of a broad array of topics. And one of them that came up was tokenization. And I kind of half jokingly said to Hugh, you really need to start a Hugh coin. And we kind of chuckled about it live. And the next day on Twitter, Hugh pinged me and said, you know, I really want to learn more about this. This is something that I'm interested in. And I DM'd him immediately. And by the way, this very rarely happens. I was like, I know exactly the right person for you to talk to. There's one guy that you need to talk to. It's Kevin Chou at Rally. The three of us should come on and have a conversation together. So that's the backstory. That's how we came to be here today. Hugh, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. I know that people know that you're involved in real estate in St. Bart's. You're creating content. You're doing a bunch of other things. Set up the table a little bit for the things that you've been involved with.
Let me tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not drinking tequila. I'm drinking water. The last time was cocktail hour. And I mean, at least I was drinking a proper drink. I mean, I think Raul was drinking Campari. I mean, anyway. The other thing is I'm just bedazzled and I'm in awe of Kevin. I mean, first of all, I was like, oh God, like poor Kevin, he suffers the same as I do. Like when you get introduced as like, used to be a hedge fund manager, you just like do the walk of shame. But maybe being an investment bank is perhaps even worse.
It is worse. Having to get rid of that.
But at least you redeemed yourself by selling a business for $1 billion a yard. I mean, respect. So remind me, Ash, what was the
question? The question was basically, what are you up to? But I think that was a great intro.
Yeah. Okay. So I am. I want to say I've got a lot of time in my hands. I wish that was true. I am up to multiple ventures, but I am trying to put a community together. I am committed to putting out a podcast and like doing kind of fun visuals and stuff on YouTube and on silly old Instagram. And I love that bulletin board that we call Twitter. Like, it's so immediate. And so I'm into dopamine bingo. Okay, and I'm getting lots of it. But from our campfire conversation, one of Raul's points, because up until that point, Raul was just sounded like a love-struck teenager with Bitcoin, and he was trading at such elevated levels. But the moment where he kind of wheeled me in was this macro. There has to be a solution to the malaise which has befallen the global economy, and which has left behind a generation that were not fortunate enough to have assets. And so I began to kind of put together what Raul was thinking, which was this notion of how we could re-franchise. So we're notionally and hypothetically, and like with the Wizard of Oz, making money plentiful. I have to paraphrase notionally. And then Bitcoin, not as a critique, but it seems to have, or various crypto, it seems to have in its DNA an ability which lends itself to speculation. And so the idea that anyone, even a moron like me, can actually come on to the WWW and be a creator, okay, and by hook or by crook, or by initially it seems by stealth, and what we're trying to do is make this process more visible. We can create communities with tokens, and we can create value. And rather than being on TikTok and doing all that nonsense, you can use the speculative element of the tokens to try and draw people and enrich the community rather than one influencer or one person. There's a two-way process. And that kind of is almost the sum of my knowledge, because it seems very foreboding. It's like, well, what's the next step? And like you say, the next step was, hey, call a friend, bring Kevin down. So here we are.
In many ways, that really is the perfect setup for Kevin. I think you're spot on. An entire generation of young people who have incredible talent, incredible ambition, want to create, and have felt that they've been locked out of the traditional finance system, and so many other sort of headwinds that they face from the macroeconomy. I find this absolutely fascinating. As you know, I cover this, space 40 to 60 hours a week. And sometimes I wonder if I understand it. I feel like if you're not in this space, as Kevin is doing this 50, 60, 80 hours a week, it's very hard to understand. So Kevin, break down for us the 50,000 foot overview of what it is that Rally does and why you're so excited about the space that you're investing your time, your energy, and your passion in doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great setup. So Rally is crypto for creative people, or creative communities, I should say. What we wanted to do was, so I've been a historian of the internet for a long time, going back to my tech banking days. If we look at what's happened with the internet, whether it's Twitter, over about 15 years ago, to blogging, to Shopify for e-commerce, if you look at the current generation of the internet, it's all been about making technology easy to use, right? So enter cryptocurrencies, 11 years ago with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, even today, Ethereum, even more so, it is incredible technology, but it's hard to use for the average person. And so if I were to say, Hugh, if you spend any time looking at this, how do you create your own token? Well, you got to go understand Solidity, some weird language that emerged. There's this thing called smart contracts. You got to really think about security. You got to think about cryptography. You got to think about, fiat rails and blah, 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 blah. It's difficult. And that was the state of the market 3.5 years ago. And so when we started Rally, the whole idea was, how do we make creating your own cryptocurrency for your community online, for creative people and communities, how do we make that as easy as signing up for a Twitter account and starting to create your own microblog? How do we make it as easy as setting up your own WordPress or Shopify for starting to create an online business for yourself? And so the whole vision of Rally was, if we can really lower the technology bar and make it simple, make it easy, how do we take this incredibly powerful technology and make it available to the average 21-year-old that is trying to make it on YouTube, or make it as a podcaster, or make it as a streamer, or make it as a young athlete, and give that person and their whole community an ability to create a true cryptocurrency, as well as a whole NFT economy that works all together out of the box. And it just works, but it's a real cryptocurrency. That was the vision behind Rally. And we wanted to get the creator up and running in 60 seconds. We wanted to get the fans, the ability to earn or buy or trade, their cryptocurrency, in 60 seconds, or collect that NFT from their favorite creator. and have that all be just a seamless process. And so that was what we started 3 years ago. And there's a lot of technical complexity. There's a lot of compliance work that we do to make it super simple. There's work that we do with banks and the traditional financial system to enable different types of fiat purchases, and of course crypto to crypto purchases. And so we just make that super simple and take away all of the complexity.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/crypto. It's 100% free. Sign up now.